episode number 92. Excuse me. Got a little acid reflex this morning. This episode number 92 of the Tax to Rich tour, man. You know what I'm saying? If you guys are new here, we started that Tax to Rich tour back in actually April, but I say May, but really it started back in April. And we started the Tax to Rich tour in Peekskill with the goal of delivering 100 live streams, 100 short stories, and 10 vlogs in 90 days. Okay, so the tour is May, June, and July, and we are here at the end of July, and we have delivered 90 short stories. We're on like 90, this the 90-second live stream, and then on not tomorrow, but next Saturday, guys, we have We the People 10. That's the excuse me, there I go. We have Tax to Rich number 10. That's the final Tax to Rich video, guys. So make sure y'all check that out. I believe that's next Friday or Saturday. I'll let y'all know as the time gets closer. But that's coming up real soon. You know what I'm saying? I recorded it out here in Central Park. That's where I'm at right now. We call it Central Park West, man. But I'm on the upper west side. Central Park is just north of Midtown, I would say. I'm on the upper west side of Manhattan. That's where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? So we the Tax to Rich number 10 recorded Central Park out here in New York, man, New York City. Tax to Rich tour, the whole tour out here in New York City. We started in Peekskill, New York. We went from Peekskill to White Plains to Jamaica, Queens, and Jamaica, Queens out here to the upper west side of Manhattan. And that's where we're streaming from today. If you guys are in the channel right now, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. If you're on a cell phone, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, guys. Y'all already know how it is. Y'all already know how it goes. This morning, good morning, Bon White. How are you doing, my brother? If y'all don't mind, thank y'all, man. Listen, we gonna go ahead and jump into the content, man. Bon, I think we are on the verge of World War III. If we are not on the verge of World War III might have already started. Yeah, that's some deep stuff, huh? But hey, let me lay down my argument. You know I'm a litigator, Bon. Y'all know I'm a litigator. Let me lay my argument down. Listen, President Trump has said before this war even started that he put out 8 fires, as he called it, in Europe. President Trump said he put out or negotiated peace with 8 different nations in Asia, and Asia, Africa, all across the world. That's before he started this conflict with Iran. It's the reason why I'm starting here, guys. Y'all just be patient with me. It's gonna come together. He said he was helping putting out. What I'm trying to tell you, that we haven't been in a world war since the 40s. And what I'm trying to tell you is there's elements in place in the world right now, particularly in Asia, to where without the United States involvement in Iran, I'm saying President Trump, out of his own mouth, he said he put out 8 fires. He had to negotiate 8 deals, peace deals, before he even attacked Iran. And I'm saying, if we looking at the map right now, we're going to get to Ukraine and Russia. That's how it all started. But Bon, if we looking at the map right now and we seeing what's going on in Iran, with the Iranians saying that they want to open up attacks on the Red Sea with the Houthis, and at the same time, President Trump, I'm saying this time right now, is this the time? At the same time, President Trump trying to pick a winner or loser. Look, I don't have nothing against Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince who's really running the show in Saudi Arabia. Nothing against him. I think he's an intelligent young man. I think he's what the Middle East needs. But I'm saying at this moment, to come out and say that you are going to allow the Saudi Arabians to start developing nuclear power, I'm saying Iran, they view that as a threat. You guys don't think so? I'm saying, why at the same moment, listen to me now, listen to me. Why at the same moment, you got to explain this to me, that President Trump comes out and says, hey, I'm going to allow Saudi Arabia to start developing nuclear power. So, you know what I'm saying? Their goal is to achieve a nuclear weapon. At the same time he says that, the Houthis, which their main opponent, I would say, in the Middle East is Saudi Arabia, they said, hey, you know what? Guess what? We gonna close down the Red Sea. So now, not only do you have the Strait of Hormuz closed, now with the Houthis, they said they attacked 2 Saudi Arabian oil vessels. So now with the Houthis, that's what I heard, and I might be wrong, might have to double check this, Bond, excuse me, but I heard that's 4 million barrels of oil a day that they were rerouting through Saudi Arabia. The Houthis said they shut that down now. So now you have Saudi Arabia, they're going to have a problem with that. That's directly affecting their economy. And on top of that, the Iranians in Saudi Arabia, they don't get along that well anyway. If you guys know the history of the Sunni and the Shiite Muslims, if you guys don't know that history, you guys go ahead and research that for me. But I'm saying in some cases, Saudi Arabia, they might... I'm not saying neither one of them like Israel, but they might side with Israel before each other because they hate each other with a passion. And that's what the situation is now. I'm saying, if you look at that map for me. If I would have to do an estimation, I would say Russia is probably the 3rd or 4th military power in the world overall. If some people call them a superpower, Russia is not a superpower. Russia's economy is worse than several American states. So you have to have that economy, that good economy, in order to be established as a superpower militarily. What we've seen happen with Russia and Ukraine, I say they're the 3rd, 4th power in the world. They at war. And then what we have now is we have the most dominant power in the world, the United States. They have went to war in Asia, close proximity to where Putin is fighting in Ukraine. Now you got America, the top power, and you got the 3rd or 4th power, Russia. They're at war. If not with each other directly, they on opposite sides. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is, how many of you guys, Bond White, have you heard this? Cool Cat, have you heard this? By the way, I asked if y'all hadn't liked the video, if you on a cell phone, all you got to do is double tap your screen, like the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Hey, listen, have you guys heard this? I heard Xi out of his own mouth. If you guys don't know, Xi is the prime minister or the leader of China. You know what I'm saying? I heard Xi out of his own mouth said he has aspirations to unite Taiwan with the Chinese homeland by 2027. Y'all got to listen to me. We talking about, is the world in a war right now, a world war? Are we in a world war? We don't even know it. I'm saying it ain't, look, you guys with little kids' minds, or you don't understand history. I'm saying you think that there's going to be some kind of announcement that World War III has started. That's not how that's going to work, homie. But I'm saying when you go back and predate it when it really started, all I'm trying to tell you guys is in 2027, if what Xi said is true, and we just heard President Trump say that he expects to be fighting against Iran in a year, and that war is expanding. That's why I told y'all about Saudi Arabia. The war is expanding. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saudi Arabian Air Force started running missions, started running sorties against the Houthis, because the Houthis are trying to block the Red Sea, or they said the Red Sea is blocked. And I mean, if President Trump's not going to let the Strait of Hormuz be blocked, then why in the world would he let the Red Sea be blocked? So that's a wider war. And I'm saying that's a direct provocation against Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, don't be surprised if Saudi Arabia joins this war. And to add insult to injury, the Iranians, and we're going to do a whole stream on this soon, they threatened the United Kingdom. Yeah. The Iranians threatened the United Kingdom. And they talking about the support that the United Kingdom has provided for America, and the Iranians said they could strike the United Kingdom. That's according to the Hill. How many of you guys heard that news story? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all look at this picture. You got Russia and Ukraine been fighting for over 4 years. We're going to get on that in a second. Over 500,000 dead. You have the United States over there and Iran, and that war is expanded. Iran has struck over 10 countries in that region. You see what I'm saying? Over 10 countries Iran has struck in that region. That war is expanding, with the Houthis saying they want to block or they want to shut down another strike off the coast of Saudi Arabia in the Red Sea, attacking Saudi Arabian vessels. And then to add insult to injury, the Iranians are threatening the United Kingdom. I think that would be a fatal mistake for Iran to attack the United Kingdom. A fatal mistake. I'm saying I think one of Iran's biggest strong points, or biggest, I would say, what you call that, psychological victories in this war, is that America's allies hadn't helped them, or America's allies has helped them about as much as Iran's allies has helped them. I'm saying that's probably one of Iran's biggest, you know what I'm saying, in this whole entire conflict. So to threaten to attack the United Kingdom, I don't understand that. But we're not going to go down that path. I'm just telling you guys, I believe there's a threat that the world could go to war. The entire world. I'm saying we should be focusing on China and Xi's ambitions to take Taiwan. We should be focused on that. But President Trump is distracted in Iran. He distracted. The United States is distracted. The United States is burning through munitions that we were saving, or we thought, guys, do y'all know this? Do y'all know the Marine Corps, they restructured the entire Marine Corps. The entire Marine Corps was restructured behind the thoughts or the idea or the strategy that the United States will eventually have to have a military confrontation against China. I don't care if you guys want to think this, believe this, or anything. Why the Chinese got a replica of an American battleship in the desert right now. How many of you guys heard that news story? They got a replica of an American battleship in the desert. The Chinese are practicing. They are preparing. Xi said out of his own mouth in 2027, his aspirations was to unite Taiwan with the Chinese homeland. And the Americans, we've known this for a minute. We've known it for a minute. Our military has been preparing for this with China for a while. So I'm saying, guys, we distracted President Trump while you distracted in Iran, big dog, on the bigger picture. Ukraine is winning against Russia. That's facts. Listen, let's go on and get into it, man. Like, look, when President Trump first came into the White House, y'all remember him and his infamous shout match with Zelensky and J.D. Vance and them, his cabinet. So when President Trump first come into the White House, this what he do. No hate against you, President Trump. I understand where you was coming from, but it was just the incorrect strategy. This what he does. He takes a map, or not a map, the desk. I think it's the White House desk. And he says this whole desk is Russia. And then he takes an apple, or he takes something small like that, and he sets it on the desk, and he says that's Ukraine. He's correct. Russian landmass is the largest country in the world. The Russian military has a lot of experience in fighting wars. They have way more experience than China. What military conflict? The Chinese in their desert practicing. They practice, y'all know, practice basketball game, practice football. How many of y'all play sports? It ain't nothing like the live action. You see what I'm saying? So the Russian military, they have experience as well. And Russia has the largest arsenal of nuclear bombs. So his idea, his thoughts to respect Russia or to hold Russia on a higher pedestal than they were, I understood that. But what we have seen happen since that infamous argument with President Trump and Zelensky, and President Trump backed up, the United States backed up. Am I lying or not? That's what JD Vance went over. Bruh. Let's just call it like it is. Let's call a spade a spade. President Trump, in my opinion, was capitulating to Putin. He didn't call Putin his friend. He didn't got on the phone and called Vladimir. He said, listen, he telling the American people, I would take this personally if we're President Trump. I don't see how he don't. He must idolize Vladimir Putin. President Trump telling the American people that this guy's his friend. Oh, y'all, Putin is my friend. If I was president, I'm talking about first day, I pick up the phone and I call Vladimir and I tell Vladimir to stop fighting Ukraine and he gonna listen to me. That's how good our relationship is. How many of us heard President Trump say that? This your friend, Vladimir, your homie. President Trump said, hey, if I was president, he wouldn't have never even attacked Ukraine. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying this is what President Trump was saying. Don't get mad at me. I'm just putting together a puzzle for you. That's all I'm doing. President Trump, he become president, he get on the phone and he called Vladimir and he's saying, Vladimir, I'm not happy at what you got going on in Ukraine. Could you tone it down some, man? As soon as they hung up the phone, Vladimir Putin hit Ukraine harder than he ever hit Ukraine at that point in the war. But that wasn't the first time that happened. President Trump tried it again, and Vladimir Putin hit Ukraine harder than he did that first time when he wasn't listening to nothing he's saying. Nothing. That's the strategy that President Trump had with Russia and Ukraine. And I'm saying, I don't know if that was ever going to end. Because President Trump flying Vladimir Putin, who is a war criminal. According to the international court, he is a war criminal. That's why he got to fly. He can't meet him everywhere, anywhere. He meet him in certain places, he going to get arrested. Interpol gonna arrest him. Real live. You think it's a game? If you want to, go to Europe. You don't think the international court got no power? Go to Europe. You think it's a game? Your bodyguards ain't gonna be able to save you. He gonna get arrested. I promise you. So he calling Putin, bringing him to Alaska. It's looking like to me that President Trump really the only real friend in the West that Putin has. And Putin still don't respect that. We're going to get to that point in a second. But my point is what I'm trying to say is President Trump, in his mind, he was thinking last summer that Russia was going to win this conflict. Y'all tell me how my analysis is wrong. He was thinking Russia had the upper hand. Why would you say Russia is so much bigger and yada yada? Because he thought Russia was going to win this. But see, you know, there's some great military minds. There's some great strategical minds in the CIA and the U.S. military. And they could see this little bitty country. And they know the world has changed. They know warfare has changed in the world. So President Trump, basically at this point, he washed his hands of the situation. He got his own victories to chase on the world stage. Why should I worry about Ukraine? I remember he came up with a plan, a peace plan. He was going to give away Russia 20%, giving away 25% of Ukraine to Russia. Crimea and everything. Putin wouldn't even accept that. Putin, how stupid you are right now. How stupid you see yourself right now. President Trump, I mean, he been capitulating. I think of a scripture in the Bible, and y'all please don't misunderstand me. I'm not comparing President Trump at no way at whatsoever to God. But I just think of a scripture. I'm saying I stretched out my hand, man, and no man regarded. I'm trying to be your friend, man. Are you really the only friend, really? But you know what happened? President Trump, he seen it. He washed his hands of it. He got bored and tired of trying to make peace. He said out of his own mouth, how many of y'all remember him saying this, that, hey, the hatred that Zelensky and Putin have for each other is so great that you might just have to let them fight it out. Sometimes you got to let them fight it out. That's what he did. Venezuela, Iran first time, Venezuela, and now he over here in Iran. They fighting it out. So he back up. NATO, they like, well, President Trump, Ukraine is in Europe. And if we just allow Vladimir to take Ukraine, then I'm saying he might sit back 10 years, 5 years, however long, or he might keep going. What's going to make him stop? He might envision a new Russia, a Russia in a way that was stronger than the USSR. Why? What's gonna make him stop if he take Ukraine? If he's successful, if you give him Ukraine, I'm saying this is not a NATO country, but this is an American ally. And I'm saying if you're gonna walk away from an ally of America and just put them in your enemy's hands, I'm saying, I mean, what's gonna make Putin say that, hey, why I'm gonna stop here? You don't know what's in this man's hand, his aspirations. Because you might think that's crazy, but what I think is crazy is for you killing 500,000 of your own men, 500,000 of your own people. What is he gonna accomplish by taking Ukraine? He fighting for some land, some pride, some ego, some ideology. You shedding that much blood over that? That much treasure over that? So don't tell me Putin ain't crazy. That man is, you don't know what he would do. And if I was Europe, I would feel the same way. You got somebody 1,000 times bigger than us, got the most nuclear weapons in the world, and they being aggressive. What if you had a neighbor like that and he at your next door neighbor house going through your next door neighbor's house? I'm saying he might not come at you next. But why I'ma think he ain't? Nah, we need to stop it. If we could stop him at our next door neighbor's house, we need to stop him over there. That's a good strategy that Europe has. So what President Trump said, and he came to an agreement with NATO, he said, okay, then listen, we gonna sell y'all the weapons and y'all help Ukraine. Y'all fund Ukraine. I ain't funding Ukraine. He went over there, made a deal with Zelensky. He got back the money America invested in helping Ukraine fight against Russia the first time. He got that back. And then he told Europe and NATO that, hey, y'all can have all the American weapons y'all need to fight the fight yourselves. And that's what happened. Y'all tell me where I'm wrong. If y'all hadn't liked the video, y'all go ahead, double tap the screen for me, subscribe to the channel, and make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Also, guys, Tax the Rich Tour, this episode number 92, man, it's going to be winding down pretty soon, man. The best way to support the channel, if any of you guys want to donate to the channel this morning, is becoming a member of the channel. It's only $2.99. You guys hit the button with the $sign in it, and all your donations are much appreciated. But most importantly, what I want to say this morning, Republican, Independent, and Democrats in the comments, what I'm saying wrong. President Trump, he washed his hands of it. Told him he'd sell him the weapons, and he walked back. He gone. In his mind, he thinking Putin finna win. He just making money off the weapons, American weapons. He's selling to NATO. And so here come NATO. And here come Europe. And I tell y'all, and y'all don't listen. And I tell you, and I don't listen, and you tell you, and I don't listen, and I tell you, and I don't listen. Who you think was the dominant power in this world before the United States? United States only 250 years old. Understand that. Understand that. And in them 250 years of American history, I would only say since the 50s, we became a dominant power on the world stage. So you only looking at 80 to 90 years or so, America was dominant like that. But I'm saying, not prior to them 90 years before America became dominant, who's the dominant power on the world stage? Boy, go to Europe. I'm trying to tell y'all. You don't know about the United Kingdom. Let me educate you real quick. Go to Australia right now. Go to Australia right now. The King of England. Who you think on the Australian currency? What kind of politicians? What kind of royalty or dynasty? Where they from? Boy, go to Canada right now, boy. Canada, even to this day. Canada right now. That's what I'm telling you. Go to South Africa right now to this day. That's how strong the United Kingdom was, man. The sun never set on the British Empire, bro. The Britons ruled the world. Great Britain ruled the world, baby. I'm saying I can't help because you don't know your history. If you listen, if I look at rap, how I look at rap, some of y'all might not understand this analogy. But Great Britain was Lil Wayne. And the United States is Drake. Because America was born. It's like the British Empire still reigning. America was born from Great Britain. Tell me what I'm saying wrong. Who was the power in the world before the Americans was? And the Americans became the power afterwards. The British Empire still reigning. I'm saying, like, bro, you could try to ignore the French if you want to. You could try to ignore the Italians if you want to, man. The Italians got some of the best mountain troops in the world. Go ask Sitcom. The Italian got some of the best mountain troops in the world. I'm saying, but President Trump, he walked away. And what's happening in Ukraine today? I'm talking about if Putin was in bunkers before, I'm saying he hiding in the core of the earth. Because the Russian people are understanding that the Ukrainians are killing Russian soldiers at a rate faster than Putin can replenish them. Think about that. The Ukrainians are killing your troops at a rate faster than you can replenish them, boy. You know, imagine. Hey, imagine if you was like the United States, your number one product was oil. I'm talking about you got riches. Russia sell oil to, they used to sell oil to almost every nation in Europe. Russia's selling oil to China. I'm saying that's where they getting their money from. Just like the Iranians. I'm saying they got beef, they got other products, of course, but I'm saying oil. So understand that. So listen, imagine if you sold the oil. I'm talking about Zelensky has been strategically targeting Russian oil fields, man. He got Putin in them. He in trouble in his own country. They feeling in their own country. They got an oil shortage in Russia. They got an oil shortage in one of the oil capitals. I'm talking about a shortage. Trying to choke him out. He can't get no oil. He importing oil. Putin gonna be calling President Trump trying to import American oil real soon. You got an oil shortage, you got an unpopular war, and you got the Ukrainians. I'm talking about the Ukrainians. They've taken back hundreds of kilometers from the Russians. Not only that, bro, it's easy. You know, if you guys understand propaganda, the Soviets are the inventors of propaganda. If you guys understand, I don't know, man, Hitler might have been, but if you guys understand propaganda, then you could tell your people anything you want to tell them and lie to them continuously. But what I'm trying to tell y'all this morning is Zelensky with them drones, he reaching deep into Russia. And the Russian people are seeing explosions deep into their own country. Putin is in a place to where not only can he not win this war, he's in a spot to where he's losing right now. Russia is losing this war. Russia is losing this war. Putin is getting desperate by the minute. I'm saying it's turned. You can ask any military expert you want to. The war has turned. When did it turn? Who knows? But all I know is President Trump, I don't know who he talking to. If he talking to his intelligence, Ukrainian intelligence, Russian intelligence, but he come out and he telling us, he telling Zelensky, he telling Europe that Zelensky's not gonna win. He picked the wrong winner. And maybe that's the best thing need to happen is for him to get distracted. Because right now, Zelensky is over there beating the brakes off Vladimir. And Russia gonna lose that war. Look, I don't know if Putin gonna survive the end of the war. I don't know if he gonna survive it because it has become so unpopular in his own country with his own kinsmen. And I'm saying, listen, the Ukrainians, they playing for keeps. They trying to assassinate people. And I'm saying, if I was Vladimir, I'd be cool with the CIA, bro. And I'm telling you, I'd be running plots. I'd be trying to get them. Be trying to put them down. Because eventually your own people gonna turn against what you doing, man. I'm telling you, these young people are not interested in war like these old politicians or these old money hungry. They're not interested in war like that. And meanwhile, in between while, the United Kingdom, NATO, have beat back the Russian aggression. And Ukraine is winning in Russia, while President Trump is distracted in Iran. Ukraine is winning in Russia. Y'all remember how I started off the live stream talking about the world wars? This is why I'm asking about the world war, because this is what I'm saying. What happens if Ukraine wins in Russia? What does that do to Chi? You saw President Trump's analogy. You got the great, massive, big, powerful country against a very, really small. So you got a great, big, powerful, massive China against a very, really small Taiwan. What happens if Ukraine wins in Russia? Without one American troop hitting the ground in Ukraine, without one NATO troop hitting the ground in Ukraine, and Ukraine wins against Russia. And I'm saying our next focus, what we redesigned the Marines, our greatest fighting branch of our military, what we partially redesigned our military and our Navy, making them not a lot lighter and a lot faster, unveiling a new world-class submarine, you know what I'm saying, on the 250th anniversary of America. What we did this for is to go fight China. China, I'm saying, they believe the fight is coming. They preparing for the fight. Why are the Chinese preparing for a fight against America? Because they are preparing for a fight against America. That's facts. Why else you gonna build a replica American ship in the desert and run drills against that ship, that replica, unless you preparing for battle? You ain't gonna run them, you ain't gonna spend your resource unless you think, yeah, they preparing for it. But I'm saying what you don't realize is President Trump's sitcom. What y'all don't realize is why you hitting Venezuela, because they threaten America. Their ties to the Russians and the Chinese, those the ops, that's the other side. And while you in Iran, you notice how America, all of the United States enemies are within the alliance with Russia and China. All of them you hitting, but I'm saying you forgetting the biggest op. Ukraine is fighting one of the biggest ops. Listen, before Putin attacked Ukraine, Putin had more pull, more power, more respect in Asia than Xi did in China and in Asia. I don't care what you said. Putin was that dude in Asia. Tell me how I'm wrong. Putin was the leader that opposed America, man. Putin was that dude. We don't even look at him like that. Or y'all might still, or people who don't understand politics. But I understand. Putin ain't none of that. Putin is on borrowed time. That's what he is right now. He on borrowed time. That's due to Zelensky and the Ukrainians. Zelensky is a great warrior, boy. You got to respect that. I don't care what you say. Zelensky redefined warfare, boy. I know who going to go down in history. I can see it. I could read this book. I'm talking about they have a prediction market. If they had the prediction markets of how quick Russia was going to win that Ukrainian war, I'm saying they was at the palace. They were at Zelensky's palace. They was on Zelensky's grounds, just like President Trump and the Americans went over there and snatched Maduro in Venezuela. What I'm trying to tell you is the Russians was on Zelensky's property and they failed. And I'm saying 4 days, 7 days, 10 days, this ain't just President Trump, this the military. This the people who know about fighting. They coming back and telling President Trump this, or telling Joe Biden this. Man, a prediction market is Russia finna run through Ukraine and retake Ukraine in 2 weeks. Less than that, 4 days. Less than that, ain't none of that happened. It's been 4 years. If you ask how many Russia had active duty military members that were trained, ready for war. If you looked at those numbers before this conflict, I guarantee you those numbers would have been anywhere between 400 to 600 to 700,000. I'm not talking about the reserves. Yeah, they got a 1 million man army or whatever like that. I'm not talking about the reserves, the Air Force, the Navy, none of that. I'm talking about just the infantry in their army. Just infantry in their army. I'm saying you're going to look at anywhere from 400 to 700,000 men. It's like they lost a whole entire army, killed the whole army. Of biblical proportions. This was in the Bible. It'd be a biblical proportions. Over 500,000 soldiers. It's like, look, Zelensky, what he looking like is 300. That's one of my favorite movies. One of them Warriors, 300. I'm talking about a few men, ragtags, boy. A couple of ragtags, 300. Going against the Persians, what we think the greatest fighting force in Asia, and I'm talking about he killing them by the thousands, tens of thousands, slaying them, sending them back to him with their heads in a box. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all sleep on the United Kingdom if y'all want to. See President Trump, he awakened something in the Europeans. He awakened something. They said that. They said we got to step up. You know what the third economy is in the world? It's Germany. And the Germans are spending a large amount of their GDP on developing their military. They building their military up. Germany making a comeback. I'm saying if I'm President Trump, I'm looking at the United Kingdom. I'm looking at Germany. I'm looking at these nations like these nations. I need these nations. That don't make no sense. Look at the success. Look, the problem America had in all of those Middle Eastern conflicts was the strategy. That's it. I'm saying when they went into Iraq 1, it was complete success because it was done completely right. George Bush didn't try to nation build. You see what I'm saying? We should use that as the example if we got to use ground troops and fight a war. He didn't try to nation build. He didn't do none of that. He went in there. He accomplished the military goals and objectives, and he got on down. And that's why Iraq 1, we don't never talk about that Desert Storm. That was a great American success story. Iraq 2 now, that's a tale of a different story. But however, I'm saying militarily, the United States was very successful. The coalition of the willing, you talking about 42 nations. I think in Iraq too, there was over 100. Listen, I'm talking about if America would have went in there and then just grabbed Saddam and got on down, it would have been a different story. Same thing with Afghanistan. You got to have clear military goals and objectives that you could hit. When you start mixing the politics in there, you see what I'm saying? So, man, look, we're looking at a situation. President Trump, he got distracted in Iran. And he backed up, and the Europeans stepped in, and quietly, the Ukrainians are defeating the Russians right now. And they're defeating them bad. I'm talking about Putin's on the ropes. Putin has been far removed in the minds of many Asians and across the world as the greatest adversary to the United States now. It's China and Xi. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is that your whole goal and strategy is to pick off Russia's and China's little sidekicks, their allies. You're trying to weaken them. Or Venezuela. It's a plan, it's a strategy. I almost see it like listen, I'm gonna tell you, it's some people in the CIA, they smarter than you. They smarter than me. They got a larger strategy they working at. Cause I'm thinking in my mind, how could Russia be having an oil shortage right now? Where they get their oil from? Venezuela? Where they get that oil from? Because you know President Trump, he controlled that oil in Venezuela now. So where they get that oil from? Iran. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's going to apply to China too. But I'm saying Russia's a producer of oil and they having an oil shortage. A big producer. This is the power. This is the power. Y'all ain't seeing this picture, bro. I'm saying Russia was the supreme dog. The big dog on the block. China was big. China's economy been good for a minute. But what I'm saying as far as military, Putin had all the respect. He was that dude. Y'all remember Putin, bare chest, Putin sitting in the woods, bare chest, Putin riding horses like, he that dude. That's why President Trump fell in love with him. He started idolizing him. Putin was that dude. The fear, he ain't that no more. The Europeans then came in and they said, Putin, you gotta go. And I'm saying because we are so accustomed to the United States and the power of the United States, we have forgotten about our friends in Europe, who basically America came from. How many Italians we have in this live stream? How many Hispanics we have in this live stream? Oh yeah, you could put your Negro roots, Indian roots, but yeah, Spain, Hispanic. Yeah, you are of Spanish origin. How many Anglo-Saxons, English, we have in this live stream? Me personally, I'm African, but a lot of my African ancestors in Europe. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And regardless of how I personally feel, I'm trying to tell you this is strategy. The world's third largest economy in Europe. As America view Israel as an ally in the Middle East, America should view Germany as an ally in Europe. It only makes sense. And what President Trump said originally was right. You want the Europeans to stand up. Let Germany, they building up their military, so they gonna be able to stand up against Putin if he come try to knock her. If China try to come knock her, one of them nations come knock. Yeah. This is what we gonna do. Really what you did, President Trump, kind of genius. You don't even realize what you did. It was accidental. But you did do something. Because if we had America from 1980 to where Putin went and tried to reestablish himself as another world power. So we got America as the dominant power on the world stage from 1980 to say 2010 for 30 years. And then Russia and China simultaneously emerged as powers. So now you got Russia and China and America. You got three powers on the world stage, and two of them hate us. Two of them, it'd be frightening to think of the Russians, the Chinese, and the Indians. That's the majority, the land and the population in the world to unite. So two of them hate us. But what I'm saying is what we have done is we have redeveloped, or we are cultivating Europe, the Europeans, to come onto the world stage. It's time for Europe to reintroduce themselves on the world stage. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Y'all don't remember the French Empire? You don't know your history? We need to do a history lesson. Who remember Napoleon the Great in this live stream? Conquerors. You don't remember Napoleon? Who remember Winston Churchill? It's time to reintroduce you. Listen, they just sitting there depending on the United States to do everything. They just sitting there hanging on United States coattail. So from a military standpoint, it's good to have another powerful friend in the world. It's real good. It's great in my mind that Europe is... Listen, if you want to make a nuclear deal with someone, I'm saying I don't know about Saudi Arabia, because I'm saying I don't understand. Like, Israel has nuclear weapons right now. And I'm saying if Israel is your friend or your ally in the Middle East, I'm saying why Saudi Arabia got to get nuclear weapons? I'm not getting that. In my mind, that looked like President Trump is trying to insert another power to match Benjamin, because I'm saying the Americans are gonna, for the large part, it's just strategically for us to support Israel. We got to have a really good friend that we could trust and depend on in the Middle East that'll help us fight terrorism, that'll help we could share intelligence with to help keep Americans safe. So I'm saying in my mind, you see the success. President Trump has to be amazed at the success. The American military, I know behind the scenes, they intelligence sharing, y'all have to be amazed at the success of the Ukrainians, Vladimir Zelensky, and the Europeans. They have fundamentally done what America has not. Because I'm saying basically what you were going to be doing, you finna be fighting another Cold War. Basically, that's what's going on. And I'm saying with Taiwan, it might get, I mean, depending President Trump, like, I'm saying, because I'm saying if he's not going to challenge challenge China, excuse me, I don't think he'll be able to do it. I think all of, not just the intelligence, but I think all of the advice for President Trump when it comes to China and Taiwan, you got to defend Taiwan. You have to. Those are your enemies. And it's important that he see this. I've said this over and over, that Xi and Putin, he calls them his friends, but they are not his friends. As soon as President Trump left China, first of all, when he was over in China, Xi made a veiled threat about Taiwan to President Trump. He told President Trump if the situation with Taiwan and China, if one would break out and President Trump mismanage it or mishandle it, it could be dangerous. That's what he said. How many of us remember him saying that? And I'm saying, President Trump, as soon as Air Force One got in the air, what's Putin's his plane called? As soon as President Trump's Air Force One got in the air, Putin's plane was on the way coming to China. And not only Putin's plane, I think Kim Jong-un went to China, all the buddies. They had a roundup after President Trump left. Of the Chinese and all the Chinese and the Russian and the BRICS allies opposing the United States and America's rule. China, Xi not your friend. Putin is not your friend. You kill the supreme leader. The supreme leader hates President Trump. Where the supreme leader stand right now? I heard he fled Iran. I think Fox News reported that. But where's he staying? I'm saying if I was a betting man, because I'm saying if you the supreme leader, would you go stay in Pakistan? Right next door? Because I'm saying, ain't that what Bin Laden did? He was trying to get out of Dodge. He thought he was hiding, and what America came and do. But I'm saying, y'all remember Edward Snowden? He was the guy that President Obama said was a traitor. He went and stayed in Russia. That boy's still alive making videos. Because I don't think America gonna be slow to kill somebody if they in Russia or in China. You ain't gonna attack Russia or China. And see, listen, the supreme leader, he know that. If I go to China, they not finna come drop no bombs in China. Just like China ain't gonna come drop no bombs in the United States. That'd be asinine. If I go to Russia, they not gonna come drop no bombs in Russia. They probably ain't gonna kill me in Russia. He'd be safer in Russia. If I was a bad man, I didn't hear what Fox News reported that he had fled to. I heard them say he fled. But if I had to bet, he fled to China or he fled to Russia. Those were the two places I'll say he fled to. Those are not America's friends. We need to understand that. Understanding that, Ukraine would be goal number one. Putin has to be defeated. I don't think President Trump has that worldview. Though that is for the best interest of the United States that Vladimir Putin get shut down. You get that? Vladimir Putin. Y'all remember the walk? He still got the walk. You know what I'm saying? The little gangster walk. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here bare-chested, you know what I'm saying, in the woods. I'm a Vladimir Putin. He the strong man Vladimir Putin. Not no more. Not no more. You see what I'm saying? That uplifts America. That makes America strong. That makes the West strong. That makes Europe strong. The greatest, listen, if Ukraine wins against Russia, you know who also loses? Who loses almost as much as Russia does? China does as well. Russia and China, they have bilateral agreements that we hadn't seen the Russians or any other nations make in decades. The Russia and China is supposed to have a bilateral agreement that is similar to NATO's. I'm saying if Xi's sitting there and he watched the Ukrainians, that's the West. They identify Ukraine as the West. If Xi in China watches Zelensky beat Putin, I'm saying that is a huge loss to him. That's a huge loss to their movement. That's a huge loss to their opposition to the West. I'm saying I don't see how President Trump don't see that Putin has to lose. I said this the entire time. He has to lose. It's no other option. The military, they gave President Trump a political exodus out the situation. And the military just passed the ball to NATO and Europe. And they're doing a great job because Putin he's losing. He's not just losing on the battlefield. I'm saying he's losing with the support of his people as well. With oil shortages going on. With people seeing explosions going on around their country. The smart ones going to start and they going to see that, nah, we not winning this conflict, we losing it. Over 500,000 people dead, Russians, soldiers, troops. In 4 years, 5 years, and you losing territory. What Zelensky had a plan, he was gonna make Crimea uninhabitable. Okay, Vladimir, you want Crimea? Vladimir, you fighting this war over Crimea? Well, you ain't gonna be able to get to Crimea. We're gonna take off all the bridges and we're gonna make it uninhabitable. We're going to give you a reason. You ain't going to have no reason to keep fighting this war. And if you do, in my mind, the Europeans ain't saying this, Ghost saying this, I think the Russian people, they going to remove you themselves. Or if not, they going to step out the way and let Zelensky finish you off. Zelensky beating you, Putin. You don't have that respect no more in Asia. You not the man no more in Asia, Putin, no more. Xi is. Russia's not the country in Asia no more, Putin. China is. So I'm saying if you could beat Putin in Ukraine, then I'm saying we focusing on two powers in the world. Because in the Europeans' mind, they saying that, hey, Putin can't get past Ukraine. We should be relatively safe. America should be able to sleep at night thinking our brothers and sisters in Europe are relatively safe. So if you could beat Putin in Ukraine, I'm saying in my mind, she gonna look at that and the way Zelensky used them drones, and he gonna say, boy, we go in Taiwan, it's not the American military we need to worry about. We need to be able, listen, a superpower, y'all have to be able, and maybe the Americans gonna do this in Iran, but if I was strategizing in the CIA, we wouldn't be fearing no Iranian drones. They gonna be fearing our drones. We got the technology, we got the money, so we gonna overpower y'all with drones. We gonna be sending swarms of drones on you. But that's not what's gonna happen, or that could happen. But what I'm saying is we seen what happened. I don't know. Maybe it's different whenever, like America, you could use the examples of what happened in Ukraine to not let it happen to you. But I'm saying that didn't happen in Afghanistan. Russia tried to invade Afghanistan and failed, and America came behind them and failed too. What I'm trying to say is if Putin tried to take Ukraine and failed, then you could try to take Taiwan and you could fail too. With the correct implementation of the correct strategy of that using drones during the fight. Guys, I'm telling you, it's very important. Europe for their own existence. Y'all shout out Europe. If you're American this morning, y'all salute the Europeans. If you're an American this morning, y'all salute the nation of Germany, man, especially the United Kingdom, man. Y'all know London, that city. I ain't got to get over there yet, but y'all know I'm coming. Italy, baby, Legal Wars Live is coming. Lake Como. Yeah. Your boy Ghost Rider gonna be on Lake Como, baby. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanna go to where they going, to Santeria or where they going? I'm trying to think of the places in Italy, bro. I almost know that the whole map of Italy, and I ain't never been in my life. You feel me? Yeah, baby. Y'all shout out the Italians, man. Y'all shout out the French, man. Shout out the French, baby. Shout out the Spaniards, man. The Europeans, man. How many of us Americans, we love the Europeans, man? Those are allies, those are friends, man. Those places we go to, man, on our vacations, man. How many of us love Barcelona and Madrid? That's what I'm saying. Because I'm saying the Europeans, the West, we should all be united together. The United States and Europe. Because our adversaries, namely Russia and China, Iran, North Korea, they look at the West, they look at us as one. Iran, that's why they threaten the United Kingdom. The Iranians, they don't like the Europeans either because of their association with America. And the Iranians have recently been threatened. They've started threatening the United Kingdom. This is news. And the United Kingdom said they're going to defend themselves. Iran don't want that smoke. It's not that America needs anyone. America doesn't need anyone to fight these conflicts. But what I'm saying, if you looking at gas getting to $6 a gallon, if you, yeah, bro, you want all hands on deck. This is an all hands on deck problem. This is a world problem. This isn't an American problem. The Strait of Hormuz or the Red Sea isn't an American problem. America is just fine without oil from the Middle East. We understood that due to us continuing to fight. We pictured this coming a long time ago. We saw this coming. So the United States said, hey, we're not going to depend on Middle Eastern oil. President Obama, he came in and he said, we're going to do clean energy. You know, that's when Tesla and all these other battery-powered cars started rising. You know what I'm saying? And then while using oil, President Trump said, hey, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill oil, America. We got our own resources. We're going to get our own oil. And due to a litany of intelligent moves, America isn't dependent on no oil from the Middle East. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is man, like we gotta get back to it. I'm gonna jump down in the comments, man. Y'all shout out the city of London this morning, man. Y'all know what I'm saying? Shout out Frankfurt, baby. You hear me? Barcelona, man. Munich. How many people know where Munich is? Shout out the Norwegians, baby. The Swedish. Shout out NATO, man. Standing up and fighting against Putin. I believe Iran is more of a situation or threat to the Israelis and the Europeans than the Americans, being that we don't really get oil from the Strait of Hormuz, and the Europeans do, and the Europeans are closer to Iran. Iran can hit Europe with a ballistic missile. It can't reach the United States mainland. I think Iran is more of a world problem, more of a European and American problem. But I think that situation in Ukraine, I think that's a world problem. How many Americans we have in this live stream? If you proud to be an American, drop down in the comments and let me know. If you proud to be an American this morning, y'all, let me see some American flags show up in the comments. If y'all proud to be an American, throw an American flag in the comments, man. Y'all post them American flags. Good morning, Justin. If you proud to be an American, that's what I'm saying. Bond, why are we proud to be an American? Because if we proud to be an Americans and we want America to dominate on the world stage, then we need Putin to lose. How you don't understand that? We need him to lose. He wakes up one morning and he say, hey, I'm going to be like the United States. I'm going to find a reason to go attack a smaller neighbor. And he says, I'm going to be like America. I'm finna make this move. And he makes the attempt. He needs to fail. He has to fail. He has to. It's a must. He has to fail. There's no other options. Because, to me, that gives America more power. That means America is still dictating. Listen, we can attack Iran when we want to. You can't. You go attack a smaller nation, you gonna fail. If you try to redraw international borders, you gonna fail. Because America, through all of our endeavors, we never tried to redraw international borders. We didn't go try to take conquer Iraq and make Iraq the 52nd state. How Putin's trying to take all of Ukraine and you reunite them with Russia? We didn't do none of that. I'm saying it's international law. You cannot, a foreign nation, Putin, he disregarded all of that. I'm saying for America to maintain what we have built, for America to maintain what we have established, he needs to fail. He needs to lose. And the only people that it benefits for the Europeans being the ones who do this to them is the Europeans. I'm saying, listen, I'm not going to hate, listen, for what he did with NATO and backing up, what he did by allowing the United Kingdom and Europe to step in and to support Ukraine and Zelensky, I'm saying that's a good look for Europe. And I'm saying that helps America in the future as well. Because you know that in these situations that we could depend on Germany, we could depend on the Ukrainians to defend the European homeland against aggressors. That's a good look for Europe. A real good look. But I'm saying, in my opinion, that fighting that Iran war, I'm just saying, I just don't think, President Trump, while he's distracted, I understand the strategy. I understand y'all, like, you got to, if your opponents are stronger and bigger than you, not are you better equipped, not are you more well trained? Not if you got more weapons, bigger and better weapons. I'm saying they got way more people than we do. And they bigger than us. And I'm saying at the same time, we trying to maintain President Bush, what he said about the United States or being a peaceful people. We trying to maintain that. And while we trying to maintain being a peaceful people, you still have to show enough aggression, because that's the only language the Iranians understand. They kill their own people. That's the only language Putin understands. He kills his own people. That's the only language that Chia understand, because if need be, the Chinese will put down a rebellion and kill thousands of their own people. So in a way, you do got to stay aggressive. So what we did in Venezuela, I'm saying, but you just got to be able to count the cost. You got to be able to have that understanding. You know what I'm saying? If you guys haven't liked the video, I ask that y'all double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell, guys. I'm finna jump down in the comments, man. I'm gonna catch a few of you guys' comments, what you guys are talking about, and joining the conversation, man. I'm telling you, it's vastly important. It's that Putin has to lose in Ukraine. He has to. I know there's a movement amongst the Republicans, especially younger conservatives, who want to try to demonize Zelensky and make Putin look like a church angel or whatever. It's that you could do that all you want to. Zelensky could be the worst person and Putin could be the best person, but Putin is still your number one or number two or number three op. He's an opponent of America. He wants to see American rule diminished. And he's in the organization of nations who want to see the American rule diminished. That's your op. And I'm saying he not an op like Venezuela. Russia's not a nation like Venezuela. Before he went and tried Ukraine, we had him ranked as one of your biggest ops. One of your strongest, most powerful ops before he went and attacked Ukraine. We see he not that yet. We see Xi in China probably that now. But I'm saying just like that, we need Xi when he go try to take over Taiwan. We need Xi to lose. We need Xi to lose in Taiwan. We need him to lose. That's how you stay. You can't see that. That's how America stay dominant. America needs to win with Iran. That's how we stay number one. I'm saying, look, y'all got nuclear weapons. China, your economy pretty good. President Trump, he want to back off and let Europe become a power too, so the Europeans are going to develop themselves as a world power. But what I'm saying is the way we stay number one is y'all lose y'all fights and I'm going to win mine. That's how I stay number one. I'm going to go to Iran, do what I do, and my will, I'm going to exercise my will on one of your biggest friends, one of your closest friends. It's amazing how the Iranians could be so close to the Russians and the Chinese and the Russians are helping them, but not militarily, because they know the consequences of that. So I'm saying they still fear the West. You need to keep that. I'm saying a nation as big as China, a nation with a military as big as the Chinese, a nation with an economy that the Chinese have, as big as the Chinese have. And I'm saying the United States attacked one of their friends, a sworn ally of yours, and I can't come help you militarily? What? That's crazy. Why you my ally? Yeah, because they fear the United States. You might say the Chinese ain't that aggressive. Yeah, but the Russians are. We see that. And Putin not trying to step in that fight either. He gonna sit back and watch. Listen, after America fought against Iraq, Vladimir came out and he gave a speech saying that the Americans have violated international law. They have disrupted the world balance. They've called, like he out there giving the speech, like he trying to tell the world, like it's the Americans who making the world unsafe. That give him a reason to go out there and try. He said that America shouldn't be the only power on the world stage. Vladimir Putin did say that. He one of the first people who said that. America should not be the only power on the world stage, and he been working. That's what I'm saying. Y'all know what Vladimir's been doing to diminish American power. But through all that talk and that yip-yak and that yip-yak and that rah-rah, for him to go out there and to try to attack Ukraine and to fail, oh my goodness. That ain't what that is. America's still supreme. We the supreme being. What we say is what it's going to be. We told you, Putin, you've been aggressive over there for a long time. We kept telling you. The military had a plan. President Trump, hold up a second. We got a plan. Come over here, Putin. We going to take we going to kill your whole army. Putin, come over here. We going to destroy all your equipment without dropping one bomb. Come on, Putin. Let's get it on. Let's fight it out, Putin. You had to get it out your system, Putin. I'm saying if Putin is successful in Ukraine, he has rewritten. That order hadn't been rewritten yet. America is still the supreme being. You know how, what's your boy, what's my man name? President Trump, that lawyer that be with, I'll be forgetting people's names so easy. He came out and said, no one's gonna attack the United States. Yeah, you're right. That's how you keep it like that. That's how you keep people having that fear of you. It's by Putin losing in Ukraine and America winning in Iran. That's how you keep them with that fear. Because they know that they can't do what they want to do. That's how they respect your word. That's how you gonna get cheat off of just a word alone, telling them that we don't want you to have Taiwan is not part of. She don't care what you say. He think that Taiwan gonna be a part of the Chinese homeland. That's just the problem we gonna have to deal with. We need to be, and I know this is already happening, but we need to be getting Taiwan ready for the Chinese to come. Zelensky need to be sending all of his drone experts to Taiwan, and they need to be training. Because according to Xi, next year, China finna try to make that move. We cannot allow China to have Taiwan. We cannot allow Putin to have Ukraine. If you do that, I'm trying to tell you, America's gonna lose the respect. They're not gonna fear America no more. Hey, if I could take Taiwan, why I can't take? Yeah, that's how that's gonna go. Hey, if I could take Ukraine, why can't I take? That's how that's gonna go. Not only that, I'm saying America's word won't mean as much on the world stage no more. The Europeans' word won't mean nothing on the world stage, and Putin won't have no respect whatsoever for them. Is that what we want? That's not what we want, and that's not what we need. Robert said Ukraine will never defeat Russia. And why would anyone think they could stop China taking this province of Taiwan, if that's the way you look at it? But you're not seeing the bigger picture. Ukraine is beating Russia, and Russia has already lost. I don't know. I mean, you could say that, Robert, and you could feel and think however you feel and think, but that's just not factual what's going on the ground. Russia has not declared defeat, but they have been defeated. Russia is importing oil, Robert. That's where you need to start. Start by looking at Googling what the Russia economy is today. One of the largest exporters of oil in the world is importing oil. They having oil shortages, Robert. Russia has real problems. Putin spends 80% of his time in a bunker. He hiding, Robert. Ukraine is going to beat Russia in that conflict militarily, period. You lose 500,000 troops in 4 years. The largest number of people died in a war since the World Wars. You're the Russians. Robert, if he was going to beat Ukraine, he would have beat them already. If he was going to beat Ukraine, 4 years after fighting the war, the Ukrainians wouldn't be taking back hundreds of miles of territory. He is not going to win that war. Ukraine is winning that war. That needs to happen. If I'm America and I say, okay, we're going to do A, B, C, or D. And Russia, we heard Putin. I wish I could scream because I'll play what with Robert talking right now. I will play Vladimir Putin saying that the Americans have disrupted the world order and America doesn't need to be the only power on the world stage. And then Vladimir go out there and try to take Ukraine. He start being aggressive, being aggressive for almost 20 years. What he was doing was he was using Russian military. What you call those people who are contractors, military contractors? They weren't Russian soldiers before he just went on with his invasion of Ukraine. Talking about Crimea is part of his land. He needs to be defeated. He needs to be defeated. And you could say that Taiwan is a province of Canada of China if you want to. Listen, Taiwan, it has a certain semiconductor that we need for almost everything we do electronically. You don't want your biggest opponent controlling that. I'm saying there's some. It's not like we're just over there saying, "Oh, we just want the Chinese. They can't take." Nah, I'm saying the Chinese could take Silicon Valley. I mean, they could take Taiwan, and then they could virtually or almost shut down Silicon Valley after they didn't took Taiwan. The Chinese, if they were directly a control of Taiwan, they could control how many semiconductors. I'm saying you don't want your biggest opponent having all that kind of power. It's impossible for you to allow that. Because if I was the Chinese, why wouldn't I? The Americans, you wouldn't think they were going to fight you or go to war over it. Or if you do, you want to put yourself in a position where you bigger or stronger than them and you would defeat them. They playing the long game against you. And we see them playing the long game. They've been for a while. You got to pour acid on that. Nah, you can't have Taiwan. America is the supreme power. And we got to make you understand that we are going to be the supreme and dominant power. 250 more years of excellence. 250 more years of dominance on the world stage. Putin, you cannot have Ukraine. You are going to lose. You already lost. The people in Russia are starting to see that you are going to lose that war. And Putin, if you stay there, in my opinion, for another 12 months, he's not going to make it out of there alive. Within 12 months, he will not make it out of there alive, is what I'm saying. It's the question isn't about whether Ukraine is going to win that war. Ukraine has won. Not on the battlefield, strategically, Ukraine has won. The question is if Putin's going to quit. Putin might look at it like he cannot lose the war. So he might not never quit or he might not never. But I'm saying if Putin doesn't do that, if he doesn't back up or if he don't negotiate a peace deal, I think the Russians, they're going to get sick of those oil shortages. Zelensky is doing what Iran is doing to America, to Russia. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna hit your, I'm gonna pick at those points, your pressure points. The Russian pressure point is their oil fields. So he been tearing their oil fields up. Tearing them up, shut your whole economy down. And that's what I said. I said this long time ago on the live. I said that I don't know why Zelensky, every single day I will have a swarm of drones going after a different Russian oil field daily. I'm saying you The Europeans helping you, they giving you billions and trillions. I'm saying, I know you got drones, defense, and certain, bro, I'll be going out there, it's oil fields daily. I'm talking about I'll bring Mother Russia to his knees. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen if he keep fighting. If he keep fighting. Putin, I don't care if y'all say Europe isn't ready. I heard that before. I don't think Putin could beat the Europeans united. I don't think he can. United with the French Air Force, the United Kingdom's Navy, those Italian mountain troops, it just depends. They gotta have the courage and they gotta man up, like JD Vance was saying. If they man up, I don't think Putin could beat them united. If you put Ukraine in Europe, you got Germany's economy. Germany got the #3 economy in the world, bruh. Y'all sleeping. All of these nations, their economy is top 10. The United Kingdom's economy top, France's economy, Italy, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So they got the money to get the weapons. They got a lot of, the French got, the British and the French, they both got aircraft carriers, but I'm saying the French got planes too. They own fighter jets. They got French fighters. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. I don't think Putin, he's saying it. He can't get through Ukraine. How he gonna be the united Europe? He can't get through Ukraine. What if the British sent their Navy to help the Ukrainians and their army, and the French sent their Air Force, and the Italians sent some of their troops, and the Germany, they opened their economy like it was them at war? What you think gonna happen to Putin? He can't handle what's going on right now against Ukraine. If Putin ain't gonna win no full all-out war against Europe, I don't care. See, y'all the same people who thinking you're sleeping on Europe. Y'all the same people who thought Putin was gonna beat Ukraine in 7 days. Y'all the same people who thought the Russian military was rival to America's. And we see that the Russian military ain't nowhere close to the United States. It don't matter what kind of pedestal y'all put them on. The Russian military ain't nowhere close to America's. I think the Europeans, they'll beat Russia. I think they'll beat you, Putin, in a one-on-one conflict. That's what I believe. I believe that in my heart. I got every reason to believe that. If you guys haven't liked the video, go ahead and like the video for me. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. It'd be suicide to send the Navy. The British Navy is barely top 10 now. And the Black Sea is a thin interest with multiple choke points. Ain't nobody said send the British Navy in to fight against the Iranians. I was talking about the British Navy going to assist the Ukrainians. Did he say the Red Sea or the Black Sea? Hold on a second. Oh, he said the Black Sea, so he is talking about Ukraine over there. Okay, so sir, no, it wouldn't. I disagree with that. You could say the British Navy isn't top 10. Maybe you say they're not top 10 now, but I'm saying they got an aircraft carrier that would definitely be able to benefit the Ukrainians. Definitely. The French got planes. They got, bro, you could think whatever you want to. All I'm saying is the facts on the ground now is Putin is not defeating Ukraine. The facts on the ground now is Putin hasn't been able to get past. He's stuck on step. Those are the facts on the ground. You feel what I'm saying? You could believe or say or think or whatever you want to. That's on you. But I'm saying the facts on the ground is that's not what's being shown evident. He is having a hard time with the Ukrainians. He can't look. Putin can't take the Ukraine sending nothing. Putin can't take the Europeans sending nothing to Ukraine. Because whatever they already sent to Ukraine, he can't defeat it. So how he gonna take the British Navy showing up, or the French Air Force, or the Italian Army, or the Germans opening up their pocketbooks? He can't take. He already he can't. What NATO and what the Europeans are doing over there in Ukraine already Putin is losing. Why he hiding in a bunker? This was the most powerful man in Asia. What many said was the second or third most powerful man in the world, Vladimir Putin, is hiding in a bunker. No, he cannot defeat the Europeans by himself. He cannot. No, he cannot. And I think the same thing gonna be with the Chinese. I don't think the Chinese military is what they don't have no experience, zero experience. If you needed a surgery performed, who you gonna go get? You gonna get the United States military who's been fighting pretty much ever since Vietnam, one way or another. The United States military been fighting in the Middle East alone for the last 30, 40 years. You gonna go get a surgeon with experience, or you gonna go get the surgeon with no experience? If you needed a brain surgery, the Chinese military don't have no experience fighting. What? Tell me the last conflict, this modern Chinese military, what's the last conflict that the Chinese military been in? You could put as many replicas of American battleships in your desert as much as you want to, and run as many drills as you want. What I'm trying to tell you is the Chinese military has had no active fighting. They don't have the experience. That's what I'm telling you. It's completely different if you in a drill and you got real bullets coming at your head. The Chinese military don't have the experience. I don't think they are strong either. I'm telling y'all, y'all are sleeping on Europe. Europe is way more stronger than y'all think they are. The Europeans are. And I think that President Trump and America should value the Europeans more, and we should use the Europeans more, just like we have before. Those are our allies. Why would I want to fight a conflict without my friends? That don't make no sense. I'm going to go get my buddies. My buddies are stronger. My buddy has made me what? Someone said China's population is, oh yeah, the Chinese population. I don't think that's relevant. I heard, and this was hard to believe, that the Chinese they're not having as many working, like many young people to expand their economy being born. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on there. But all I'm trying to say is I'm talking strategically and militarily. I just know the Chinese, I'm an American. I have a bias. I don't care. No, Chinese, they're not going to be able to take Taiwan. We got to stand against that. We don't want Xi being able to say that. Xi has explicitly said that the Taiwan is going to be a part of the Chinese homeland. The Americans has explicitly said no, he's not. So I'm saying, whether or not Xi right or not, America needs to maintain dominance on the world stage. We don't want the Chinese and the Americans to be telling the world what to do. We don't want Xi to have as much power as our president. We want China to be underneath America and to have to listen to what the Americans say, because the Americans are not killing thousands of their people publicly. The Chinese are, and the Chinese have been for decades, and they're not going to stop. They're communists. Y'all say socialists, I say communists. They're communists. They're commies. No, the commies, no commie at no time. Y'all think about this. Ronald Reagan and them have to be rolling over in their grave. John F. Kennedy and them. Y'all trying to give power to the commies. Let commies have a third of the world's power. What? No, commies ain't having no world power. None. We need to resurrect Europe. President Trump is doing that. Let Europe step back on the world stage. If you're going to let China and look, listen, hold on. If you're going to let China and Russia, it's 2 against 1. China and Russia be powers on the world stage against America. I'm saying, America, we need to even this up. That's what we're trying to do. We bringing Europe back, and Europe single-handedly is beating Putin and Ukraine. China cut their population by allowing only 1 child. Yeah, that's true. China only allowed 1 child per household. They did that for a long time. And I'm saying that's come back to hurt them over the years. You know what I'm saying? Hannibal ended up hiding in Turkey like a little coward. Hannibal, Chinese trading oil and wine instead of dollar. Yeah, they are. The Chinese are trading the wine. Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, if the China, they want to, they actively attempt to devalue the U.S. dollar. The Chinese are active opponents of America. Those are your ops, your biggest ops. Iran's not your biggest ops. The Chinese are your biggest opponents. They rival you in every way. The Chinese have AI and they have aircraft carrier. They have AI in their planes. They have a large Navy battleships. They have the second world's largest economy. I'm saying the Chinese are to be respected. They have taken Putin's place. The Chinese are the second power in the world. That's not Iran. President Trump over there flicking his nose with Iran. He playing with him. Because he did those threats that he make about wiping them out. He could do that if he wanted. It's not funny. If he was saying that about the Canadians, I'd get mad. You know what I'm saying? Or the Europeans, one of our friends, because it's not funny, really. But the reason why I think it's funny, because the Iranian, they're not their people or their civilization, but I'm saying their government, though, over the years. But he got the power militarily to wipe out their whole civilization. He over there playing with him. He flicking his nose. He can't get at him like he want to, because if he do, gas would be $15 a gallon. And the Iranians know that. So he over there messing with him. It'll be a different story with the Chinese. The Chinese can cause some real problems, some real damage to America, to our homeland. It'll be a different kind of fight, a different kind of war if you fought the Chinese. See what I'm saying? So I'm saying, because, listen, if you got a dog, this is a greatest example I could give y'all in this situation. If you got a dog, if I get a Rottweiler when he a puppy, okay, I know sometimes them Rottweilers, German Shepherds, sometimes them dogs will get up to 200 pounds. The K9's this long. I always get them at a puppy. I never get a full-grown dog. I always get them at a puppy. You know why? I teach that dog that I'm the alpha male. The dog has to understand that I'm the alpha male. That's a dangerous animal. China is a dangerous adversary. China has to know that the American word is supreme. Go attempt to take Taiwan and fail. I'm talking about burn up your whole military and all your resources and fail. That's what needs to happen. That's best for America. That's best for the world. That's best for the West. We need Putin to get an L in Ukraine, and I think we have successfully accomplished that, or we will shortly. And we need Xi, when he make that move next year, if he do like he said he was, we need him to get a loss too in Taiwan. That's the best thing for America. America wins Iran. America wins and China loses. China and Russia loses their conflicts in Ukraine and Taiwan. That's the best thing for America. Tell me where I'm wrong. How am I wrong? Where am I wrong? It'd be drones, projectiles, but they wouldn't try to land on us. They goad us into invading them. Whoever invades retreats looks like the loser. We both have mountainous boundaries and deserts. That would destroy invasions. Trump's killed our influence and the reason. Hannibal, that's what we trying to get around that. Are we trying to rebuild that? Are we trying to revamp that? Are we trying to whatever that? Whatever reads we want to do, we need to influence America. That's how you remain dominant. That's how what you trying to say or do is going to remain. You need that influence. I'm saying, I don't see why, and then like we're going to talk about this. That's why I don't go into all the news stories. I don't see why you go at Canada like that. You putting tariffs on your allies. I mean, it's like, don't listen. I'm saying, look, I came in here with the tariffs. I had to get that money back. So I used some different tariffs. I could only use them for 150 days. So I got more tariffs. So I'm saying, like, I mean, just some things that President Trump does, I really do not understand and disagree with them strategically. I could say a lot of things that he has done I don't understand and agree with strategically. Hannibal says Trump and MAGA are rooting for Putin. They were at first. I knew they were, which makes no sense. It don't make no sense. I'm saying when Putin says he wants to become a world power and he start invading Ukraine, President Trump say, okay, we're going to split the world up in three. No, that's not what you do. You tell Putin, no, you ain't getting Ukraine, buddy. America is still dominant. We said you can't have Ukraine. We're going to build Europe up and let Europe go over there and stop you. And then when you try to take Taiwan, we're going to build our friends up, Japan and them, and they going to stop you. That's how that needs to go. David says, what happens when Iran nukes Israel? Iran got to get the nuclear weapon first. Iran don't have the nuclear weapon. That's the whole point. You don't let them get a nuclear weapon. Hannibal says mass terrorists are complete failure. I'm saying, like, I don't see how they not a failure. I'm saying, listen, y'all, we look at some polls. If we looking at some polling, President Trump's approval rating has hit the 30s. If we look at polling, President Trump's approval rating is lower, or job approval rating is lower than Joe Biden's. President Trump, you said that Joe Biden was the worst president in U.S. history, and there was credence to your argument. I'm not saying I agreed to it, but there's credence to it. You got one of the largest inflation numbers in U.S. history, one of the most unpopular presidents in U.S. history. And he was a peace president. It don't make sense. Yeah, so I understand. But what I'm saying, President Trump, what happens when your poll numbers go below Joe Biden? What happened when your approval rating is below Joe Biden's? Those tariffs, 63%. Listen, before he enacted those tariffs, 52% of Americans opposed them. Now 63% of Americans opposed them. They didn't know what the tariffs was, probably. And the 37% of the people who don't oppose the tariffs, it probably don't affect them. President Trump don't realize every time he imposed a tariff how that hurts him. And I support tariffs against a lot of people, a lot of countries, not your friends and allies. Don't tax your friends and allies. Tax the rich. Trump failed policies has resurrected the Democrats. Hannibal, that's why I made you a moderator. Everything you have said is 10,000% correct. Failed policies is what is giving the Democrats all the stage and muster and hoopla that you need to take power again in America. If you guys haven't liked the video, y'all double tap the screen for me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell, guys. We on episode number 92 of the Tax to Rich tour, guys. That means we only have 8 more episodes left on this tour. August the 1st, I believe I'm gonna do 2 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, on August the 1st. And those 2 episodes are gonna end the tour. I believe either July the 31st, July 31st, that's when we're gonna do We Tax the Rich number 10. That's out here in Central Park West. After that premieres, that's also gonna end the tour. Guys, We Tax the Rich tour, May through July, looking at 100 live streams, 10 videos, 100 short stories. Make sure you guys check out all the content. You guys, whenever we finish streaming, you can exit out the live stream, land on the Legal Wars Live landing page. Make sure y'all check out those tax to rich videos. We don't get that many views on them, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta promote them, man. I do that kind of content every time, you know what I'm saying? We've been doing our tours, and we did this tour across the great city of New York. You know what I'm saying? It was a great time to be in New York, the World Cup. A lot of people came to America and seen, you know what I'm saying? I heard Abby Phillips say something on CNN. She said people in their countries, we're not talking about Canadians, you know, people come all the time. We're talking about people who never been to America before in their country. You see what I'm saying? And then they hear about the United States and, you know, doing this and that and all these negative things about America. And then they come visit. They come visit Chicago. And they come visit Miami. And they come visit New York. They visit the small towns and they see America is beautiful and America is greater than ever. Always has been, and we trying to keep it like that. That's the goal. Tax the rich, baby. Hannibal, I love you to death, baby. Justin says Hannibal can't even pull off a catfish and he thinks he's a military genius. I don't know what that means, bro, but whatever. Who trying to catfish somebody? I don't play them kind of games. I don't catfish. Somebody could try to catfish me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't play them kind of games. You know what I'm saying? No catfishing. Bankers equal the rich, and that is true. You know what I'm saying? Tax the rich. Even Elon paid all, but Elon already pays a 0.00002% tax rate. We should be thankful, and I know that needs to change. You know what I'm saying? Under the revised America tax plan, I believe that anybody under the poverty line or at the poverty line should not have to pay no taxes. Listen, poverty line in Mississippi, I think $17,000. What you gonna do with $17,000? If you make $17,000 a year, you know you getting food stamps and all kind of other government programs and assistance. So I'm saying, why would you take money from someone to give it right back to them? Someone making that much money a year shouldn't have to pay no taxes. The rich men, the people who can afford taxes, their tax rate should increase. 90% on $1 billion, 60% on $1 million. Yes, indeed, tax the rich. There's no way in the world you let 813 people be bigger than the whole program. There's no way in the world you let 813 people have more money than the entire federal government. There's no way. You said Hannibal wants to negotiate from his knees, but I'm saying, what position are you negotiating from? I'm saying, like, you didn't let these people get control of the Strait. They trying to control the Red Sea. I'm saying you're not negotiating from a position of strength. You just dropping bombs. I don't think your dropping bombs is deterring Iran from doing anything that they've been doing prior to them starting this war. That's just my belief. I don't think you dropping bombs is going to deter them. I think it takes more than dropping bombs to deter them. And more than dropping bombs is something President Trump really don't want to get. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you saying negotiating from a position of weakness. Where's our position of strength? If we was in a position of strength in Iran right now, why we can't get Iran to the negotiating table? If we was in a position of strength of Iran right now, why we can't get a deal? If we in a position of strength in Iran, why that memorandum of understanding was like a piece of trash, a piece of garbage? Because we not in a position of strength that you say we in. No, we not. That is not accurate. I would have to say it is inaccurate. They need SNAP. Walmart will fall in their workers wouldn't be supplemented with one money they could only spend on food, aka go straight to Walmart. Rich people live in many countries. Smart people make money. Leftists spend other people's money. No, smart people spend other people's money too. That's how they got a whole lot of money. Smart people spend other people's money too. That's how they keep their money. You know what I'm saying? Someone says I was in New York in 2014. Great time. And I assure you that I never met any billionaires. I'm so glad I went when I did. I think a lot of people nowadays feel they can't go to the States. I don't understand why they don't think they can, but that is true. Some people might think that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're immigrants, so they're from, you know what I'm saying, a foreign country. But what I'm trying to tell you, though, is the people who do come, they see that America is great. New York is the greatest city on earth. If New York is the greatest city in America, America is the greatest country on earth. Period. Point blank. It's non-negotiable. Yeah, I'm biased, and that's my opinions, but that's just what's facts. Democratic liberal wacko policies have ruined the party. If you say so, people will say that Republican policies have ruined America. People will say, I mean, you could that's an opinion. That's a debatable opinion of no facts, of no factual credence. You can't tell me that no particular policy of no politician has destroyed America. But we can talk about what has destroyed America, but you can't say that given we could listen. This what I could tell you this though. I could tell you every time you give a rich man a tax break, you collect less revenue. And if you collect less revenue, that means you gotta borrow more money. That's like ABC economics. Every time you give a rich man a tax break, if taxes is the main way you give revenue, every time you give a rich man a tax break, then that means you collecting less revenue, you getting less money, which means you have to borrow more money because we never could cut the spending. You can't cut your bills. Social Security is your rent. Or your defense, your defense is your rent. $1.1 trillion is your rent. Social Security, that's your car note. You see what I'm saying? You can't cut those bills. So I'm saying, if you want to say someone who has added more money to the U.S. debt, if the debt is one of the main things destroying America, that's facts. The Republicans got the Democrats beat. President Trump, he added more to the debt almost than Barack Obama did in one term. And he on pace. Listen, President Trump is on pace to add $17 trillion to the U.S. debt. That's the most by any president times 2. So I'm saying, if you want to say that a politician, if any policies giving a rich man a tax break is what's destroying your country, allowing America to have so many billionaires is what's destroying your country. Y'all remember we were talking about influence earlier? You know how much influence a billionaire have? You don't need all them billionaires. It's unnecessary. That's what's destroying your country, my friend. Each side keeps blaming one another. That's what Bond, that is so true, and that's a big problem. Both sides are always blaming one another. It's the Democrats' fault or it's the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault, and and meanwhile the American people are suffering. Nothing is getting done. We are not getting the help that we need. State media says that the rich people are the ones who create and keep the tax codes what they are. Exactly. 813 people own $7 trillion of wealth. Those 813 people continue to control the country. That's why it don't matter if you got a Republican or a Democrat, those 813 people are going to continue to keep everything the way it is. Okay, the Republican, he took a step to the right. But America have you heard the people who say it don't matter who I vote for, I don't vote because ain't nothing gonna change? That's what we talking about. We talking about the 813. I need to make a vlog and promote the snot out of it called the 813. That's 813 people who own more wealth than what the United States collects in a year. 813 people who own more wealth than the federal government. And they controlling everything we do. Obama and Biden added 15.3 trillion to the national debt. Let's see. That number is not actually. I'm not. Yeah, that is right. That is right. I don't know about 15.3 trillion, but if you take Obama's 8 trillion and Biden's 7 trillion, that's 12 years. They added 15 trillion. President Trump in 8 years will add 17 trillion. If he keeps spending on the route that he's on. You got 3 Democratic presidents over 12 years who added 15 trillion to the debt. You got one Republican president over 8 years who added 17 trillion to the debt. This is what I'm saying. This is the thing with the American people. The American people have figured out that Republican or Democrat, things are going to be about the same. You say where I get my evidence for that from? Because if you look at the voting electorate, 46% of voters are registered as independents. So the majority isn't Republican, the majority isn't Democrat, the majority is independent. What that's telling me is that they'll go vote, they'll participate their civic duty, but they're in their mind, they thinking I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, because that's why you keep having the purple states and the electorate keeps swinging. You understand that those are the independents who's making the decision on who's president. The majority of the American people are independent because they realize Republican and Democrat, you're not going to get much of a difference. Not much of a difference. Those 813 people are running the country. Here's the thing, though. Even though you don't get much of a difference between a Republican and a Democrat, here's the difference you do get. With a Republican, they both adding the same amount to the deficit. Don't let the Republicans fool you. Don't let the Republicans lie. As a matter of fact, the Republicans are adding more to the deficit. Don't let the Republicans tell us about fraud, waste, and abuse. Don't let the Republicans say they're going to cut the national debt or any deficit. Don't let the Republicans tell you they're going to balance the budget, because they've said that every administration and it never happened. George Bush said he was going to cut debt, and look what, and Donald Trump came in here this time with Doge. He realized he spent $8 trillion in 4 years with those tax cuts last time, so they asking him how he gonna pay for his tax cut. He gonna cut food stamps, he gonna cut the poor people's programs. And after he cut their programs, I'm saying how he gonna pay for his tax cuts is with fraud, waste, and abuse. He going after fraud, waste, and abuse. Start a whole Department of Governmental Efficiency. Did it work? He's last year in 2025, he spent more than any president did in 12 months. That's what I'm saying. So the American people are going to wake up to that. Just like you told them Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, so they didn't woke up to it. So this time when you say Iran and the nuclear bomb, they not believing you because they heard that lie before. So I'm saying they hearing the Republicans lie about cutting budgets and cutting deficits, and you ain't cutting nothing. Actually, you spending more money than the Democrats. So we don't want to hear nothing about no cutting deficits and budgets. The difference between a Republican and a Democrat fundamentally is the Republicans are going to come in, they're going to cut those debts and budgets. They're going to cut taxes to help a rich man. That's the only difference. The Republicans are for the businesses and the rich people, and the Democrats are for the working class and the poor. I don't care what you say. You can argue me all you want to. Mondami had 6 months in office. And I'm saying if you go put a microphone in his face and ask you what he accomplished, everything he tell you he accomplished is for the people of New York. Both sides, both sides, you gonna get corruption on both sides. Both sides gonna spend too much. Both sides, I don't know about making $2 billion in a year, but both sides gonna put money in their pockets. The American people, we figured that out. The difference is the way the Democrats are gonna win this race is because they help the people and the Republicans help the rich. The people is 70% of America and the rich is 10%. The rest of them are in between. The people is 70% of America, and the ultra rich or the rich are 10%. Only 1% of America make $430,000 a year. Only 1%. $430,000. That's not a lot of money. So if I give you the top 10% of the wealthiest people in America, they'll ride with the Republicans because they know you're gonna cut their taxes and make them richer. But I'm talking about the people. They're gonna ride with Mondami. Because listen, you can't come trick me no more. Your fraud, waste, and abuse, your Doge, your come cut, you ain't cut nothing. You just spent more money. You ain't cutting nothing. The Democrats ain't cutting nothing, but Rand Paul, y'all need to start y'all own party of libertarians, because that Republican Party, they spending more money than the Democrats. The Democrats just, if you a candidate on a Democratic ticket, you just got to put the facts out there and let the American people see it. How much President Trump, you could Google this. You don't have to take my word for it. How much did the American government spend last year? The debt, $2.2 trillion. That's more money. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. They not cutting nothing. The Democrats not cutting nothing. The difference is Mondami, he gonna do something for me. He's going to do something for me. I know he will. And the somethings that he do is more than what the Republicans gonna do. That's the only difference. He gonna do something for me. The other one, he gonna make Elon become a trillionaire. That's what he gonna do. Listen, if you a millionaire, Mondami's policies will work for you, I promise you. You don't have to believe me. Look at if America's, listen, the best time in American history in our economy was the 1950s. Go look at the tax rate in the 50s. Why wouldn't we want the American government to get money? That's how we get money, is by collecting taxes. That's how you strong. You want your government to get money. The more money, the better. But President Trump think it's better if Elon and them have the money. So I'm saying Elon get the money. So when Elon, and y'all know I love Elon, that's my favorite rich dude. That's my favorite billionaire. If there's any billionaire to like, he the only one I like. I don't like none of them. The rest of them. But I'm saying, when Elon gonna give the NYPD when he gonna give them a raise? When he gonna give the fire department a raise? When Elon gonna give the teachers a raise? When he gonna do that? When Elon gonna go? I ain't listen. I'm telling you now. I know he done donates a lot of money. It's not his responsibility to take care of the people. That is a responsibility of the government. That's the government's job. Yeah, that is the government's responsibility and duty. That is the government. Listen, let it be a food shortage. Anytime, if it's not the government's duty to take care of its people, why you see American, why President Trump, okay? You can't argue with me, bro. I'm telling you, I'm going to embarrass you. If it's not the government's duty to take care of its people, why the candidate Trump in 2024, the candidate Trump, why the candidate Trump? Y'all remember the hurricane? I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the hurricane that hit those southern states during the campaign. And so he out there and he's saying, hey, y'all, Joe Biden only giving people $750. If it's not the government's responsibility and duty to help his people, President Trump think it is, or he thinks the people think it is, because during those hurricanes and stuff, whenever the government's job to come help his duty, he was coming out and saying that they not helping enough and I'll help more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, it is the government's job to provide services for its people. If your government ain't providing service for its people, they're going to get rid of you. I promise you. The Taliban provides services for they provide services for their people. They have to. And we talking about the Taliban. Listen, the Europeans, they labeled the IRGC, the Iranian military, they labeled them a terrorist organization. And the IRGC might kill their people, but they provide services as well. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You gotta provide services for your people. That's what's President Trump's job? It's not just to protect the American people. I'm not saying you providing services like you taking care of them. That's not what I'm talking about. It's a balance to it. But I'm saying the Democrats got a better balance overall than what y'all talking about. I'm an independent. I'm a black independent from a red state, an ultra red state, and I was raised by black conservatives who vote nothing but for Donald Trump. They don't vote. They've been voting Republican, shaking George Bush hand, and I'm talking about they millionaires, so don't tell me. My ideology is completely balanced. I am the embodiment of what an American is. Completely balanced. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So I'm saying, listen, bro, like, I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm not choosing sides. I'm just saying from what I thank you for that donation. I see it up there. From what I'm saying, I see from those two. And if you got to choose, I know this dude finna help the people. I know he is. I know AOC is gonna help the people. She's gonna do something. I know she is. I know she is. Barack Obama helped the people. Tell me how many tens of millions of people got health care with his name on it. He helped the people, man. He made an attempt. I'm saying President Trump, he ain't made no attempt to help the people. He helped his buddies. He helped the rich. But you can't blame him. He a rich man. So if everything he see around him is rich. His cabinet, what Marco Rubio and JD Vance probably the brokest people in his cabinet, and they millionaires. Everything around him is rich. Ain't nobody in President Trump around him is struggling for food. Nobody. What disabled veterans he got around him? We got 16 million disabled veterans. And I'm saying the ones who left the military in certain ways, those people need help. With President Trump, what policy you ever heard a Republican for a disabled person? What policy you ever heard a Republican have to help the elderly or help? All the Republicans know how to do is say work. They tell the poor to work and the rich to get richer, and that's their whole economy. That's all they know. Tell me where I'm wrong. That's not choosing a side. Like I said, if we talk about a lot of social issues, I'm gonna take the sides of the Republicans. If we talking about social issues, I'll choose Republican side. Like I'm an independent, a real independent, but on economic issues, which is gonna decide the election, the Democrats beating the Republicans right now 1,000-0. Listen, how many those special elections? How many seats did the Republicans flip? None. The Democrats flipped over 20. They finna take the House. They gonna take the Senate too. Y'all get ready. They taking the Senate too. The Democrats winning in Texas, the Democrats winning in Ohio, the Democrats winning in Maine, bro. It's just what it is. President Trump made the decisions he made, and he empowered their party. And this coming from an independent, y'all. Episode number 92, Tax the Rich, y'all. We back live tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time. I'll see y'all then. Y'all be good. Y'all stay safe. I love all of you guys and appreciate y'all. Thank you for the donation, y'all. Episode number 93 tomorrow. I'm out.